Cheers. Thank you very much. Morning, Thomas. How are you?
Morning, Chris. I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. If we could just get a quick injury update ahead of the game on Saturday, please.
Yes, thank you. I think everyone that played against Watford should be available, plus Ivan Toney and Ethan Pinnock.
Cool. And any COVID cases in the camp or around the club?
Yes. First and foremost, we think as a club that Premier League or every club should be much more open about how many cases we have. I think there should be something that if you have the cases, so there's a clear, how can you say, indication of, okay, we have this amount of staff and this amount of players infected this moment in time, and this amount of players from the 25-man squad. So it's very open, very transparent, so we know where we are. I think that's important. This moment in time, we have 9 positive in total between staff and players. And of course, I will not, because it's not clear for everyone, so I'll not say if it's 9 players or 9 staff members, but it's 9 in total. We have had more over the last 10 days, something like that. So in that perspective, that's where we are. The next thing, because I guess you'll have a question, so I'm prepared, of course, so I can just carry on. We think that we should postpone the full round of Premier League games this weekend coming up. The COVID cases are going through the roof in all the Premier League clubs. Everyone are dealing with it. Everyone have a problem this moment in time. To postpone this round and also the Carabao Cup round will give everyone a week at least I don't know exact the number, 4 or 5 days to clean and do everything in the training ground, so everything is fine. So you break the chain in every club. Also because in football you need to have close contact. Physios need to do their job with players in treatment. We are in a dressing room on a match day. We're traveling by coaches. All that. So it's a little bit more difficult to work from home. We respect fully that we want to play. We want to play. We want to carry on. I think it's important that the football is keep going. But this way we can have the Boxing Day going, no problems. 100% sure of that. So in that aspect, we think that would be very sensible to do that.
I know you said that's what you want to do, but have you actually spoken to the Premier League, other managers with these thoughts?
Yeah. As you know, I'm the manager or the head coach. So our sports director Phil Giles and our CEO John Varney have been in, if not hourly contact, but very often contact with Premier League over the last couple of days.
Should footballers be made to get a full vaccination?
That is a free choice. We're living in a free world. I will definitely recommend it. We have done everything we can in our club. We have a lot of players double vaccinated. We arranged to get the booster in the training ground yesterday. Yeah. So we are doing everything we can to make us as safe as possible. My biggest recommendation would be that they should be vaccinated, definitely.
There's a report in one of the papers today saying that the Premier League will crash unless players are fully vaccinated. It uses a figure that 68% of Premier League players are double jabbed. Do you agree with that, potentially, given everything you've just said?
That they will crash if they are not double vaccinated?
The Premier League fixtures will just stop. It will just grind to a halt because there's just too much around.
I think no doubt that this Omicron variant is running through like a wildfire through the world, and it's spreading much quicker. So I think we need to do what we can to protect and avoid it. And now, obviously, it is everywhere. And I think in in the clubs where it's in. I think we can do a lot by closing down training ground for whatever 3, 4, 5 days, what's needed, and then we can go again. If they're not double vaccinated, of course it doesn't help. If it's enough to cancel more rounds, I don't know, but I think 1 or 2 games here will help out.
What percentage of your squad are double jabbed?
I think it's high. It's very high. I think it's around 90 plus.
Okay. Just a few more questions for me, if that's okay. With everything you've just said, would you be in favour of AFCON from January onwards potentially being moved, postponed?
Thank you for that question, Chris.
That's right.
I think, again, like with everything, if it was the Euros or the World Cup or now the African Cup of Nations, as long as all the safety measures or all the COVID protocols this moment in time are in place, no problem. But of course, it can be a issue if some of the countries are red list countries and are red list countries in almost every country. Then there is an issue that need to be taken a decision to solve one way or another.
On the pitch, as if this game will go ahead, how's the squad feeling after that late Watford win and ahead of Southampton?
Good, of course. I think it was a massive boost in any way. We have had quite a few injuries and quite a few COVID cases for that match. On top of that, we play against a team they're going 1-0 up, difficult team, and we're playing with players in the lineup that haven't played that many games, like Mads Rorslev. He never played a full season, so all credit to him. Never played a full season in his entire senior career. Shandon Baptiste, the same, been very unlucky with injuries. Charlie, coming from League 2, struggled with a lot of things and need to praise him a lot. Vitali Janel out of position, going 1-0 down, and the mentality and determination the players are showing is crazy.
And in terms of the challenge that Southampton may face, averaging a point a game this season, what do you make of the challenge of them and the job that Ralph is doing there?
I think they are a team that are very well coached. I think they're very clear in the style of play. I think Ralph have done a very good job in giving them a clear identity over the last 3 years. I think that's been very very impressive in many ways. I like their aggressivity and their pressure. They're going forward very quickly, and they are a team that are very difficult to face. Definitely.
That's all from me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Chris left, so I don't know who's next in line.
It's me. Morning, Thomas.
Yeah, morning.
How are you doing? I'll stick to the football. You said Ivan Toney was due back for Manchester United, is available as well against Southampton. Has he trained well this week?
Yeah. You want anything?
Yeah, Phil's just saying 4 more cases overnight.
Okay. 4 more cases overnight, yeah. So we are on...
You have 13.
I can do my math now. 9 plus 4 is 13, yeah.
13 cases, okay.
Yeah.
Do you need to ask the question again, Chris, for your... to change it?
I'm okay to add that on. I just want to... do you know, I know you can't specify totally, but is that 4 more players, or are you just saying staff?
Honestly... Phil Giles called me during 2 minutes ago. I could see that. Then he called Chris. So I like very much to specify that when we agree across the Premier League, if it's players and staff, because we don't have to, how can you say, give us a disadvantage. I like to be very open and transparent, as we always are as a club, but there need to be a line for all clubs.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for that, and thank you, Faye.
No worries. So Ivan Toney, he's trained well this week, you say. How's he feeling?
He's feeling better. He had some symptoms, and you know, it can be difficult. Most of players have home gym or bits where they can keep the fitness up, but as long as they have symptoms, of course they can't train. So it was good. He was on the grass Monday, and we trained with him individually yesterday. Yeah, so he's looking fine.
How much has that extra time that you've had helped with your preparations? You talked about the players who stepped up against Watford last week, but you know, the game being cancelled or postponed, against Manchester United must have helped a little bit.
For what, sorry?
The game against Manchester United that was postponed must have helped your preparations.
No, for Southampton.
For ahead of Southampton.
Yeah, of course, a bit. Let me put it this way: a lot of things is up in the air this moment in time. So of course we have a few more days, but if we have 2 days in between games, 3 days or a week, I prefer a week always, because I think that gives us the best time to prepare. But we manage every situation, and we'll be ready for Saturday no matter what.
What did you make of Southampton's 2-2 draw with Palace last night?
I think it was an open game, going back and forward. I think Crystal Palace were actually more or less on top of the game, and then we know they have this magic from Ward-Prowse in terms of direct free kick. He's probably one of the best in the world. And a fantastic finish from Brusha, and then flipped the game a bit. I think Crystal Palace were pushing more forward in second half and got the deserved equaliser, but a good game.
And have you spoken to your players about the importance of discipline when you've got somebody in the opposition like James Ward-Prowse and that lethal free kick?
We will do that. Not yet, but of course, going into the game, especially not today, tomorrow. And on the game day, I will reinforce it again.
Thanks very much, Thomas. Good luck if the game goes ahead.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
We'll go to Ian Abrams next, please.
Hi, Thomas. How are you?
Hi, Ian. I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Can I just start off by asking you, I spoke to Jurgen Klopp yesterday, was saying about there should just be more transparency in terms of how many cases there are at every club. Are you finding then that some clubs maybe are not being transparent in this situation?
No, I think it's very, very simple. I think every manager or head coach want badly to win, and every club want to do everything they can, and everyone want to go borderline. I haven't met a manager or head coach my entire life that don't want to go borderline, including myself, to do everything they can to win. So if it's not transparent for the one who's making the rules, then you do what you can to maybe add it to your advantage. So I think it should be very clear. And then of course there's some clubs that are more transparent, more open about things than others, which is just the way clubs are different, like people are different. So I think the key message is it should be very transparent. Why not say we have 20 cases in total? It's 13 players and 7 staff, or the other way around.
So you had 9 players yesterday. You've got off another 4 overnight. That's 13 in all.
Not players, not 9 cases. We have 13 in total players and staff.
Yeah. You like this weekend's round of games to be called off. You want your League Cup ties to be called off. You and I both know if you start calling whole weeks off, it's very hard then to start again. When do you start again? Is everything better? If it gets worse, then you set a precedent about having this weekend off. Should you just stop for the foreseeable future? I mean, is it just possible to stop 1 week?
That's a good question. I don't know that. And I know one thing for sure. I don't think that the ones who've taken the decisions in Premier League, it must be a terrible situation to be in, because it's very difficult. There is, I don't know how many people who's on this call, every single Premier League manager have their own opinion and want to push. It's just like Boris Johnson try to make a decision. All the politicians in all the countries across the world, it's a nightmare to take these decisions because there's so many different interests going around one way or another. So it's not easy. For our perspective, I think we are at a place after 2 years with this COVID situation that we want as much normality as possible. But then I think everyone will, let's go into this Christmas. We will manage over the winter, and then we just get another curveball thrown towards everyone with this Omicron variant. There's just much, spread much quicker. So there's never, one answer to that. For our perspective, because I think it's important that football is going on, if it can be done with 1 week, and I believe that will be a good thing because it's in all clubs now, so then you can minimize the spread. Hopefully, every club and as many as possible get the booster. That will help as well.
Obviously, I think everyone hated watching football without supporters, and what you said this morning makes perfect sense. Maybe to have a week off and see where we are. Other people will say, hang on a minute, if you're going to have a full week of fixtures, if Brentford are going to play Southampton, if Man United are at home this weekend, in front of 20, 30, 40, 70,000 people, I mean, should we maybe continue with football, but just maybe take a break from having people in the stadiums?
I think there must be some medical advice on that. I think the first step they've been taking is that they need a corona passport. So either you need to show that you're double vaccinated or have a negative test. I think that's the first step, which I think is a correct step at this moment in time. Then there is maybe another step, half capacity or whatever. And then there's the full stop, no fans. I think it needs to be a decision coming from the government at a certain stage.
Finally, can I ask you, how tough is it being a football manager right now? Because you've got to decide whether you're going to pick Ethan Pinnock and Ivan Toney. You're going to decide whether or not, Brian Mbeumo is in form and you want to play him, and the goalkeeping situation. But you've also got to come out on press conferences like this and almost speak like a politician. How difficult is this? Because when you signed up to be a football manager all those years ago, Thomas, you never would have dreamed that you'd be having press conferences talking about medical health matters.
That's absolutely correct. I never thought about that. I think you're actually nailing the spot on now, because it is like a little bit political situation where you're answering questions that are involving a lot of people across the society. But I only give my opinion. I think it's much more tough to be politicians this moment in time, or especially the NHS workers that are actually in the front line. I think that's much more tough. I think we are very, very privileged.
Listen, good luck this weekend. Keep safe and have a great Christmas.
Thank you. Likewise, Ian. Thank you.
Phil Parry, please.
Morning, Thomas. I hope you're well, and I hope everyone who obviously has been tested is well and makes a quick recovery. Can I just ask you in regards to what you asked earlier about a suspension maybe for a week of games? Have you spoken to any of your colleagues within management or football clubs elsewhere about this? Is this something which is being talked about elsewhere?
Morning, Phil. No, I haven't spoken to any other managers this moment in time. We have mainly spoken inside the club about it a lot. Me, Phil, and John, and of course with other staff members, but not across other clubs. I know, of course, that Phil and John have spoken to others just to see where people are and then find out can we get a common ground? Can we find a solution that are fitting everyone?
I suppose one of the problems, we're talking to you now about the preparation for a game on Saturday, as you just revealed, that the situation is so fluid. You've gone from 9 to 13 cases publicly in the space of 10 minutes. How difficult is it to prepare a squad for a football match, still 48 hours out, when you don't know who's going to be available in the next 24 hours?
I think it's very difficult. I think, and also another thing I'm just thinking about now of why I think it's a good thing to postpone this round and the Carabao Cup is that, you know, when it was actually on its highest last time, the pandemic, we tested twice a week with the PCR test. Now we're testing twice a week with the PCR test and every single day with the lateral flow test. So there is something that is not right. The next thing is, of course, after the game was cancelled Tuesday, we were talking about what do we do to prepare in the best possible way for this game on Saturday if it goes on. Then we're talking about should we do a light session, get everyone in Wednesday, but physiologically and in terms of preparation for the game, yes. But in terms of trying to keep break the spreading chain, I think yes, no one had to come in, so we didn't do that. Today we train a bit later, but it's in out. They're not going in the dressing room, so they get their kit directly in the car. They change there. They go in minimal prep, medical prep, go straight out on the pitch, get a football, go home, done. So that is not the optimal or performance first preparation we want to do for a game. But there is just so many other things going around, or most importantly, one other thing going around out there, that's COVID. So we need to really be aware. And if we have to play, we're thinking about should the players drive by themselves to minimize the spread for this game? That is not correct preparation. Should we not go overnight? Should we all that? So all that we are willing to compromise on the preparation of a Premier League game that in our case for everyone is very important. But I think everyone know, even that we speak about one game at a time and we want to end as high as possible, it's relatively important to the finance part of it to stay in the Premier League. So, but we need to take these decisions under these circumstances.
Yeah, I suppose the integrity of the competition is affected, isn't it, potentially by some clubs fielding teams that they wouldn't field. We can talk about how great would it be to have 3 more points, etc. But some people may not be able to do what they would like to do. Just finally, for me, then, in regards to the players, have they any of them expressed concern about this and being on a pitch and being out there, being more exposed potentially to becoming infected?
Yeah, I think players, but also staff. I think the players are of course, in many ways, the most important ones because they're out there. So it's very important that they feel safe and they want to go out there. And there's been minor concerns from the players, but there's also a lot of concerns from staff members because especially the staff members who's very close with the players. They have to, for example, the whole medical staff. It's just like the NHS. They not like that. You can't compare it. Need to say that you can't compare that, of course. But they need to do treatment. They need to do a lot of things. So and people have to go to work because we need to perform. So I think there is some moral questions in this that is very tricky. I'm not saying it's easy for Premier League or anyone or the one who's in charge of our club, John, Phil, and I, the 3 of us, is very tricky to take these decisions.
Well, best of luck with that, and obviously, as you say, best of luck to everyone who has obviously tested positive. Stay well and safe, Thomas, please.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Jay Harris has a hand up, so we'll go with Jay.
Hi, Thomas. Good to see you again. Obviously, sorry to hear about the rising cases at the club. My question kind of is a little bit similar to what Phil was asking you a moment ago. Just I know you're very big on the mental health of your players. So, what's kind of the impact on them and on the dressing room and yourself when fixtures are getting postponed constantly, players are losing not just their teammates, but their friends to the virus, and obviously worried about taking it home to their families, but being expected to potentially go out and perform on Saturday and what would be a really big game for the club?
Yeah, it's really tricky. I think is that uncertainty, that you don't know what's going to happen. Are we playing? Are we not playing? What is happening if you get the virus? I think this moment in time, I think we're all aware, especially if you're double vaccinated, that the chance of getting very ill is very small, and I think that's a big thing. But everyone also like clarification, and everything is running like normal, and this is definitely not running like normal. And I think that's where everyone get a little bit disrupted, or more than disrupted in their normal life. I don't know for sure, of course, but I'm pretty sure it's not because people are afraid of potentially dying of this. I don't think that's the problem. And I also think because of most of players' family and so on are vaccinated, also the more vulnerable ones. So I think that's a big thing, that we are in another place right now, but we need to find a way, if possible, where we can keep going, or maybe that is a week off with games.
I can't remember if it was on Monday ahead of Manchester United or last week ahead of the Watford game, but I remember you said that you were 100% certain that the Premier League games would go ahead over winter. But obviously now you're saying that this round of fixtures and the Carabao Cup should be postponed next week. So are you a little bit worried that if we kind of don't get in control of this situation quickly this week, as you're suggesting, that perhaps further down the line in 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'll be forced to have a longer break, as it were?
I'm not a medical advisor or know enough of what is going on, and when it is to take that decision. So that's not for me to say. I'm just relatively good at thinking logically, and I can just see we have had two games postponed already. There's a lot of talks in all the clubs, and we also hear a lot of us a little bit behind the scenes in a lot of clubs. No, 3 games postponed now. 3 games: Tottenham, Brighton, Watford, Burnley, and us. And most likely the Man United game will be postponed. I could imagine what I'm hearing on Saturday. So we're already down that route where it's too many. I think that's definitely a challenge, I would say.
And then final question from me: if you are forced to go ahead and play the game on Saturday, depending on how many of the 13 cases are players, is it likely that we're going to have to see a lot of these B team players get called up and put in a situation where they're getting their first ever appearance for the club in very strange circumstances?
That could happen, or maybe I'll call upon Kevin O'Connor, or maybe myself. I'm not a great footballer, but I could maybe stand out there. No, I think you never know. Maybe let's see, Jay, what will happen on Saturday. We will put the best competitive team out there if we need to.
Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome.
Killian, please.
Morning, Thomas. You spoke about the kind of compromise in preparations, and we're seeing outside football, people are working from home, yet players are expected to continue as normal. Is there a danger that players' safety is being put at risk?
In terms of getting the virus or getting injuries, or what?
Well, you spoke about, let's say, in terms of the compromise and preparations of getting players out on the pitch.
I think you can say, in terms of getting the virus, if the more we are together in close contacts environments, there's a bigger chance that they could spread through the squad. So in that case, if you continue, yes. I think in terms of that, we minimize everything and cut everything into the minimum training on the pitch. I think that's the training on the pitch, of course, is the most important thing. But these days, the players are getting used to treatment, prep, gym, all that to maximize things. How much do we take away from either the performance, but also their normal routines? What does that affect them in terms of playing one game, no problem, but playing a lot of games like that, maybe that's where we are going to struggle, a lot of clubs.
And then in terms of if fixtures are being postponed, trying to fit them in again, it's more beneficial to clubs who have a lot more squad depth.
Yes, I agree, but that I will never complain about. I was in the championship for 4 years as a head coach or assistant manager, and especially last year was a mental season, and we still managed to do the job. So, and we didn't have the biggest squad in championship either. It will be tough, but we will manage that.
And finally, have you, with January coming, have you had any time to think, or have you a good idea about what additions you might want in the transfer window? Or are you happy with the squad depth you currently have?
This moment in time, just today, I'm not thinking about that. But as you know, Killian, we are prepared as a club. We're always open, and we're already working behind the scenes if we want to do. But so we are prepared if something should happen.
Thanks, Thomas.
You done, Killian?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Right, so we're done here. So every question from now on will be under a 10:30 p.m. embargo on Friday.